This is the story of Maybell, a retired dairy cow. When her new family brought her home, she started crying and just wouldn't stop. Worried something might be wrong, they began looking for answers. But no one could have guessed how things would turn out. Get ready, this one's going to pull at your heartstrings. The dairy industry is huge. A lot of people enjoy milk, cheese, yogurt, and other products, and most don't really think about where they come from. But for the cows who make all that milk, there's no way around it. Their entire lives, and even their endings, are shaped by that system. That's why a very special place exists. Ellie Lax founded the Gentle Barn, and with her partner Jay Weiner, she created a safe haven where rescued animals could finally rest and be cared for. They've helped so many, but one of the most touching stories is about Maybell the cow. Maybell had spent her life on a family farm as a dairy cow. The family who raised her treated her better than most. There was real love there. When it came time for Maybell to retire, they desperately wanted to find another option instead of sending her away for good. She had given them so much, and they wanted her to live in peace somewhere safe. Some friends of Ellie heard about Maybell's situation and helped connect the family with the Gentle Barn. Thankfully, they agreed to let Maybell spend the rest of her life there, surrounded by comfort and kindness. Ellie and Jay went out to bring her home and help her settle in. A vet visited to check on Maybell and ran a few tests just to make sure she was healthy and comfortable. They wanted to be sure she was in good shape and could enjoy her new life for as long as possible. At first, everything seemed great. Maybell ate well and even looked like she enjoyed having her own cozy space in the barn. But that first night, everything changed. Maybell started crying, pacing, and wouldn't settle down. Ellie said it was constant, heartbreaking cries, over and over. Clearly, something was deeply wrong. They hoped it was just part of adjusting and decided to give her a little time. But after several days, the crying didn't stop. They were growing more and more concerned. Her emotional pain was beginning to affect her health, and they were afraid her new beginning might not last. They had to do something. While Ellie stayed behind trying everything she could to comfort Maybell, Jay drove back to the farm where she'd come from. He told the family what they were seeing, but they were just as surprised. They'd thought she'd be happy in her new home. Maybe she was just missing the only place she'd ever known. Jay wasn't sure what to think. But then something in the distance caught his attention, a small cow out in the pasture. He looked closer. It was a young bull, probably about 9 months old. When Jay asked the family, they told him the truth. This young bull was Maybell's son, the last calf she had before retiring. He was supposed to go to slaughter soon, but after hearing how heartbroken Maybell was, the family agreed to let him go live with her at the Gentle Barn. Ellie was thrilled. Everyone hoped this would help heal Maybell's broken heart. Her baby, now named Miles, had been taken away shortly after he was born. But the family had kept him nearby, in a pasture close to hers. She could still hear him and knew he was there. So when she arrived at her new home and he was nowhere to be found, the loss hit her hard. As Jay drove back with Miles in the trailer, the team waited anxiously. Could this be what Maybell was missing? Would she recognize her calf? Would Miles remember her? Those questions didn't hang in the air for long. Even before Jay parked, Maybell started calling out, and from the trailer, Miles called back. She rushed right to the gate, getting as close as she could. They opened the trailer, and as soon as the gate swung wide, Maybell and Miles ran to each other. The reunion was instant and full of joy. Miles leapt around excitedly and even began to nurse. They had been separated almost his entire life, but that didn't matter. The connection was still there. It was a beautiful emotional moment and a reminder that animals love their babies too. From that day forward, no one would ever pull them apart again. Maybell and Miles would live side by side for the rest of their lives. It sounds like the perfect ending, but Maybell had another surprise for the folks at the Gentle Barn. The vet came back with results from the blood work taken the day she first arrived. Ellie and Jay were nervous. What if Maybell had been sick all along? Had she been crying because she was in pain, not just grief? But instead of bad news, the vet gave them something incredible. Maybell wasn't sick. She was pregnant. She was going to have another calf. Ellie and Jay were stunned. They asked her old owners how this could have happened. Turns out they had kept her in a pasture with a bull shortly before she left. So Maybell had come to them already carrying one last little surprise. The news filled everyone with hope. Maybe this new baby would help bring some healing after all Maybell had been through. For years, she had been forced into a tough cycle. Get pregnant, have her baby taken away after a week or two, and then start over once her milk ran dry. That's how the system worked. Even Miles had been taken too soon. But not anymore. Now she had him back, and this time she'd get to keep her new baby too. But this time everything was going to be different. This time all the milk Maybell made would go to one purpose: feeding her own baby. She didn't have to worry anymore about someone taking her calf away or wondering if she'd ever see them again. Now they had all the time in the world. Ellie and Jay were deeply thankful. Their hearts were full, watching this little family grow and seeing Maybell finally get the second chance she deserved. They made sure she had everything she needed leading up to the birth. Maybell spent her days roaming the big open pastures with Miles, soaking in the sunshine and living in peace. She was free, cared for, and finally happy. It was the kind of life she never could have imagined back on the farm. Everything had changed, and now it was about to change again. During a rare harvest moon eclipse, Maybell went into labor. Though she'd given birth many times before, this time was different, and there were risks. But Maybell wasn't about to give up her new life. She pulled through like a champion, and soon a beautiful new calf was born, joining her big brother in the world. They named the baby Eclipse, and no one watching could hold back tears. Maybell gently licked her newborn, carefully checking every inch to make sure she was okay. In the calm, quiet stall, she had all the time she needed to bond with her baby. Before long, the little one wobbled up on her tiny legs and took her first steps. Her goal? Finding her mom's milk. Maybell encouraged her gently, making soft sounds, helping her baby figure it out. It took a while, but finally Eclipse latched on and began to nurse. And just like that, for the first time, Maybell was able to use her milk the way nature intended, to feed and care for her baby. Years have passed now, and Maybell is still living peacefully at the gentle barn with both of her children. Ellie and Jay have done everything they can to make up for all the hard years she endured, and it shows. Maybell is calm, healthy, and clearly content. Miles comes running when they call, and you'd never guess that this gentle bull had a rough beginning. And little Eclipse? She's a bright, happy cow who has only ever known love, safety, and the warmth of her family. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Should mother cows have more time with their babies? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story as touching as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and come back soon for more true stories that will warm your heart.